Hey, there I am. Hello, hello, hello. It's the Dungeon Minister with some technical issues because I was running around at the last minute um, grabbing some stuff. My face is vanishing. I don't need my face to vanish. Not a great face, but what I've got, I'd like to keep there. At the last minute, I realized there was a way that I could fix some of my echo problem, and that was to use a second camera with headphone jack. So it's still making noise, but it's coming out of earphones, the earbuds that are way the heck over there. So you're not going to get any echo. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm gonna pause for a little bit, see if people join up, because I have some really cool. Actually, I don't need these. That's only if I'm talking to someone. Or listening to someone. Hello, Mark. Hello, Bob. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hello, Ryan. Phantasmic. I am rather washed out, which is not great for my face, but it will be very good for the painting. I'll lower the temperature a little bit until we get to the painting. And, ooh, warm. Yeah, I'm going to give it a little bit till people get on so I can show off the cool stuff that I got in the mail recently. And then we'll get down to the painting. When we get to the painting, as you saw from the thumbnail, I have these wee soldiers. Other way, everything's mirrored. Yeah, you know what? Generally surviving the polar vortex, Ryan. So I've got a couple of these guys, two of them, and I also have a couple of crossbowmen, and I'm going to paint them up to be. Well, I'll let you help me decide. Who am I painting them up to be? We'll see. Either the choices would be the Count of Kilmarnock's troops, or Baron of Comoic's troops, or from the Vale of the Blade. Although they wouldn't be Vale of the Blade. If they were Vale of the Blade, they'd have swords, not spears. They really are about the blade. Although there would be crossbowmen, but not spearmen. Just really. Yeah. So whose soldiers they're going to be is essentially what I'll be deciding. They could be Lord Morgan's from Achigmar. We'll decide that. And yeah, henchmen from Advanced Hero Quest. Well, they came from Next Level Minis. I don't know if they were in the box that Shadow sent or not. This, however, was. The other guy will be painting tonight. Well, if I get to him, maybe a first coat. Because this is rather like the Carrion Crawler, which I think, oh, I can do that real quick. Ha ha ha. Yes, Next Level Minis, Mark. Do you know them? They're pretty good. I'll see if I can grab their link here. Got it somewhere. I'll put it in the chat. Boom. So Next Level Miniatures, really quite good. They used to have a bit of a scale issue where they were working on a 28 millimeter scale, they were working on a 25 millimeter scale, and against a 28, they just looked not ridiculously short, but a little like, did you not eat your Wheaties growing up? But they have since brought the scale up to 28, and they are fantastic, Bob. Some really good sculpts. And even with the old ones, The depending on what you were using, you could take, the gargoyles or the giant spiders. So they're off a little bit. Who cares? Who cares if a giant spider is this big or this big, right? It's not that big of a difference. So you could use that kind of stuff really seamlessly. And then you could just, maybe you've got a race of slightly shrimpy humans here. I am wearing clericals here. I just want to make sure I keep the brand, keep the flag flying there. But it's very cold in our house. The thermostat in our kitchen gave out. Apparently these things only last so long. Modern stuff, right? Those old round thermostats, those sort of gold color with a dial on it, they lasted forever. These don't so much. But anyway, so the back of the house is really cold, and so the heat from the front of the house is compensating. So it's a little chilly in here tonight. It's not that bad, but yeah. It was worse earlier. The polar vortex that Ryan refers to is really, well, it's chilled out. It's actually gone the other way. It's warmed up. So we're in better shape. We're in better shape now. So we got 9 folks out there. That's pretty good. I did want to show off some of the cool stuff I got. And I don't know if the senders are here. I'm going to switch on. There you go. You live in a decommissioned Catholic church. Oh my heavens, that would be chilly. Hello, General Nut. That would be very chilly. The churches that I've known. Now, the one I'm in now, St. Albans, is usually pretty good. There's 2 furnaces because they're underneath the church, and the access to that area is so small that they couldn't bring in one big furnace. They had to bring in 2 essentially residential size furnaces. And inevitably, one of them is acting up. Inevitably. But the other one compensates, and so it's not too bad. When they are actually working, it's fine. You have 2 as well. And it's not real well insulated, but all of the heat, goes out. Hello, Flint Fireforge. All the heat, of course, goes out through the ceiling, through the roof, which is not insulated at all. The walls are insulated with hay and horsehair, apparently. That's what they did back then. All right. I'm going to go ahead and now take that off because that's where the minis we're going to be painting come from. Next level. But I'll show you some things that I got in the mail. One of them, it's not a huge, big deal or anything, but I quite like it. Let's see. Which one's supposed to be big? No. That's not what I wanted to do. What am I doing here? Why will you not listen to me? I do not want this. I want you to be big. I want you to be big. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Oh, away. Oh, away. This is ridiculous. This card changes. I just didn't make any changes. How do you make them bigger? I don't want to do that. Let's send you down here. Sorry, folks. There we go. There we are. That's what I wanted to do. Watch me struggle with technology, folks. The first thing, it's lovely. It's actually a lovely thing. It's not like game related or anything, but I know not think one of the first people ever actually to send me, so the first person to send me something, I still don't know who it was. It was Hey Road. It was Adam over in the UK sent me a Christmas card one year. It was the first thing someone sent me. I'm pretty sure that was the first thing. But it was very sweet, and he has sent one every year since. This year one didn't come, but I thought, I don't like expect a card from people, right? It happens, right? But it did eventually show up. It eventually showed up with a very nice card with a very sweet message inside from his family, which is, it's adorable. It showed up yesterday. Yeah, it's the 14th was yesterday. It showed up yesterday, January 14th, because we've had a postal strike on. The postmark on the envelope, he had it in the mail on the 4th of December. It took a month and 10 days to get here. So I got Christmas in January, which was nice, which was very nice. The other thing, though, that came in the mail, and I don't know if he's out there right now, Light Main. And he told me, and again, it got stuck in the slowness of postal services, but he sent a couple of books. I actually got the second one first. Then the first one came. The second one did not have a dust jacket, but the first one does. The Chronicles of Amber. And I mean, look at that cover. Is that not right there, old school, in a picture? I mean, he's got a cape. He's got no shirt. Are they jeans he's wearing? Boots? I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So a huge thank you to Lightmane for these. He says that there is some inspiration for his own book in these, and yeah, so I thought that was a very kind gift. I'm going to get around to reading those soon. Things have slowed down after Christmas, as expected. The fall was nuts, and I'm not sure why, but things have slowed down, and I am going to read them. And I suspect that you feel your testosterone rising. Well, I mean, that'll do it, right? And Fleetwood is probably going to read them as well, and maybe Touchberry for that matter. Now, here's a story. As I say, the green one, the one without the dust jacket, the second book arrived first. They came individually. This one arrived first. And you look at it. If you describe that to somebody, you describe it as a green book, wouldn't you? I don't know how your computer's monitor's color is set, but you describe that as a green book. That's what I thought, green book. And because it came first, and I wanted to do a sort of thank you, like I'm doing, once I had of both, I set it here on my desk, and it was there. Canada Post. Well, a strike is a strike, right? I had it on my desk, and it was up there, and it was over there, and it was over here, and I kept having to move it. So at some point, apparently, I put it on the shelves, right? Put it on the shelves. I don't remember doing this, but obviously I did. Because later, the first book arrived. I started looking for the second book, which had arrived first. And I looked all over my desk, and I couldn't find it. Into the book. Well, Fleetwood was looking at it. Go over to my chair, look around my chair, because he was sitting in the chair looking at it. I remember it sitting on the arm of the chair at one point. No, it's not there. He said, Fleetwood, he was at school at the time. When he gets home, did you take this book up to No, I didn't take it upstairs. Well, let's look just in case, because sometimes, Touchberry, did you take? No. Okay. Bob Johnny, did you grab this book and take it? Because sometimes Bob Johnny will be like, I'm a wizard. Oh, I'll use this book as a spell book, right? And then later he'll forget having done it. And, say, did you have that book? No, I don't have the book. Oh, you mean that book? No, he didn't. Looked all over the place. I'm getting desperate here. Okay. Where in the world? Remember how I described this? Green book. Green book. With a black spine. I must have missed this on the shelves 24 times. I must have looked right over it. Black spine. Never saw it. Finally, I slowed down enough. Because, of course, once you can't find it, you start to get, oh, no, where is it? And I'm getting panicky. And I can't find the thing. And the more panicky I am, the less carefully I'm looking. So, yeah, I did eventually, though, discover it. And so now I have the pair together. So, huge thank you to both Adam and to Lightmane for this really cool book series. And again, if it reads anything like that picture looks, I'll have a hairier chest by the time I'm done. All right. Okay. Oh. Well, I don't know, Road. I don't know about that. Neither rain nor snow nor dark of night, or was that the Pony Express? At any rate, it's become the postal thing. Sometimes I think that the motto of the Canadian Postal Service is, "Oh, it's raining. I ain't going out today." Um, no, Road March. That's actually what we named them. Yeah, first child. I thought Fleetwood. That's what we'll name that kid. I do use them because just to maintain a certain amount of anonymity online. I mean, it's because people can easily find out who I am. I don't want them involved, if at all possible. So, okay. So here's a question. Got 13 of you. That's lucky. Whose soldiers should these be? Okay. Should they be the Count of Kilmarnock, in which case their colors would be black with some yellow, or yellow with some black? Hey there, Pooch. Hey there, Pooch. Dog just came in. Should they be soldiers from the Baron of Camoik, in which case they're blue and white? Should they be from the Vale of the Blade? And well, yeah, they could be. If they are, then they are pretty much black and gray, unless it is after Bargle took over the Vale of the Blade, in which case it's a red, blood red. They could be Gorak's troops, the baronet who's been placed in charge of Kilmarnock after the count was deposed. That's red and yellow. So, you tell me, what color should I paint them? And while you're at it, what color should I paint this guy? What color should I paint this guy? You say the Baron too, blue and 2 for blue and white. I'm seeing, and I'm seeing a black and gray. This dragon, if you know my campaign setting, there's a large forest, so it could be green. There's a swamp, so he could be black. There are mountains, he could be red. There's even desert across the mountains east of the Orcs, so he could be blue. He could be white, but we've kind of done white dragons, right? A lot of those. Whatever he is, he's not big. It is next level minis before they bumped up their scale. The soldiers are next level after they bumped up the scale. So he's definitely a basic book dragon, right? This is not going to be the toughest of opponents, but he could be. Looks like blue or white. Okay. I don't know how you can tell that, but okay. Looks like blue or white. The ground underneath him just looks like kind of stone. It could be anywhere. Always had a soft spot for green dragons, have you? I think blue and white, the Baron's troops wins for the soldiers. Unless there's any last pitch for anyone else's soldiers, I'm going to go with that. Do I have any blue? I do. I used to have Copenhagen blue, which was a nice sort of chalky, but more bestial build. Oh, okay. And it was a really nice blue. I don't have it anymore, though. I have plenty of other blue, and I got plenty of white, and I can tone down that blue with a little bit of gray, which I think I will do. I don't want it to be blue. I'm thinking sort of like Union soldiers in the American Civil War, right? Okay, now faces. Faces. Probably good. Just lighten that a little with that. Okay. Got that. And get some better brushes because this is detail work. I can't park those there. That's where the camera's aiming. I have to try to paint over here too, because usually I muck it up and my painting ends up off camera. And you're like, just tuning in to not watch me paint. Faith is probably just as interesting not watching me paint than watching me paint. I'm really selling it, aren't I? That to dry that off with. That so I don't get my pad all messy. We need a palette and jar for water. Okay, I'm going to try to adjust my camera so you can see more of the painting surface. There you go. That's probably better. So how has everyone's January been going? You've made your New Year's resolutions. Have you stuck to any of them? I haven't. I had resolved I was going to walk more, but then it got so cold. See, Canadian Postal Service. It got so cold, and I was like, oh, I don't want to walk in this. It's really, really lousy out. But I have not walked a heck of a lot. A little bit more because we did get a dog recently. Our dog is a new addition to the house. He's a Coonhound Rottweiler mix. So it's a lot of dog. A lot of dog. That's not turpentine, incidentally. He's a lot of dog, but he's a sweetheart. He really is a sweet little dog. Little. He's a puppy still. He's still a puppy, so he's not huge. Peacock blue or bright blue? I'm gonna go peacock because it has just a kind of purplishness. Dungeon a day on your channel. That's awesome. Hello, Jay. You know what? I am always up late, Jay. I'm terrible about sleep. I really am. I shouldn't be doing this first. I should be doing their faces first. The egg cartons, you like that? Well, I like to keep it fancy. Painted more than you intended. Cool to hang out with your brother. That's good. That's good. You have that hang out with your bro. That's good. I'm an only child, so I don't know that dynamic, and I'm looking forward to watching as our boys grow up. I'm looking forward to watching that dynamic as they become adults. Hey, it's good to be painting. It's good to paint with your brother from another mother. It's just a mix. So what I'm doing there is I'm just mixing a light brown with a cream, just lighten up the face a little. Not going to paint with that though; it's too big. What's the dog's name? Magoo. Magoo, and that is not his character name. That actually is his name, and he is a character. Magoo. He came with that name. We had talked about the name for the dog. Remember, paint it on camera. We talked about a name for the dog. And we talked about Arthur. I thought instead of Arthur, it should be Arthur. Get the dog. That is, but then he came with his own name, and we thought, you know what? He's very well crate trained. He's very well potty trained. Housebroken. Potty trained makes it sound like he goes to the toilet. He's very well housebroken. He's very well crate trained. Let's not confuse him at all. Let's just keep using the same name. And Magoo is a fun name, Mr. Magoo. But I decided that I think my wife agrees as well, that his name is Arthur Magoo or Arthur Magoo. Georgia has 3 inches of snow last Friday. Holy cow. Had to drive the speed limit with the top up. Excellent. Resolving not to make any resolutions, Ryan. That's a good resolution. You can always keep it, except when you've kept it, then you've kept your resolution. Oh, well. When you keep it, you break it, right? Okay. Again, paint down here. Paint down here, you doofus. Magoo, maybe Mac. Actually, I've been calling him Goo and Goober for short. Well, that's not even short. It's just the same length. But I've been calling him Goober. Goober and Goo. I mean, he has that puppy silliness, right? You know, where he's just running all over the place and being dumb, and he's adorable though. He's adorable. If I hadn't spent so much time getting the camera set just right, I'd have aimed it down. Yes, always with the puns. I'd have aimed it down to show you, but it was a pain in the butt getting everything set up today, so I don't want to. I don't want to mess it up. Come on, buddy. Let's get some paint on here. And I am not going to be so particular tonight. That's my resolution that I've just made. I'm not going to let perfect be the envy of good. How's that? How's that? I could have given these guys gloves, and that would have been easier. It could have been gray gloves, and it just would have been the primer. Oh, well, I don't mind. Now, I don't know if this is the right technique. Maybe I'm wrong. Lent is also a good time for resolutions. In Lent, I give up chips and snacking kind of stuff like that, and I move to like snacking on bananas, which is like, ooh, But anyway, and the only reason I snack at all is that diabetic, and so blood sugar becomes an issue. But I give up caffeine during Lent. So no coffee for 40 days. Well, more than 40 days, because there's Holy Week, and Sundays aren't included in the 40. And someone was asking, if the Sundays aren't included in the 48 days of Lent, does that mean on the Sundays I can break my fast? Say, well, look, if you're going to say I've got a 40-day fast and you're only going to do it then, you're just making it harder for yourself if you go back to it on the Sunday, especially with caffeine. So makes it tough because coffee is ubiquitous in church world, right? I mean, we even after church we have coffee hour, where you go down here, where you go in and have coffee. I could just move the camera up. This one's easier to move. Where we go into the hall and we go into the parish hall and we have coffee. I could just do that. I could do that. I could flip that up. So that makes it's giving up coffee hard, and it's about halfway through Lent before the people who serve coffee remember that I give up coffee. So I'm constantly being offered coffee, which is, no, I can't. I've given it up. You give up giving up. All right, I need to mix more flesh tone. I give up no thing for Lent. Cannot do without coffee. Well, you know what? After about a week, the headache goes away. There's about day 2 through 4 is the worst. They're not that bad. It's not that bad. I mean, you know what? Ultimately, he gave up his life. I can give up coffee. It's not that big a deal. But I have a parishioner who gives up chocolate, which also has caffeine, so I also give that up. And but she gives up chocolate, and boy, I mean, she's a real chocolate lover. So she finds Lent terribly, especially because, of course, the stores are stuffed with chocolate for that whole period. I'm convinced that's what roll up the rim to win is. Incidentally, roll up the rim to win is a means for Tim Hortons. If you're American, you don't know Tim Hortons. They have this annual contest, roll up the rim to win, and it used to be, the rolled rim at the top of a paper coffee cup. You'd roll that up and it would have a little message: you won, or try again, always try again for me. Now it's just a code you scan. It's not fun anymore. But anyway, I'm convinced that's what the origin of that was they noticed their sales dip in Lent because they sell coffee, but they also sell donuts and stuff. I think they saw a dip in their business during Lent, and so because it's always in the spring, it's always around the time of Lent. It's a sort of February, March thing. So that's just my conspiracy theorist coming out. Let's see. Fernando got some ice on the property from that snow. I didn't see a sneak in there, Fernando. Hello. A little bit of snow left over in a few places. Glad it's over. You lived in Wisconsin for 6 years. Yes, the land of ice and snow. The land of ice and snow. Anyway, I'm not going to sing it. A, because I'm bad at singing, and B, because if I got copyright struck for a bad rendition of Immigrant Song, then I think I might have to close the channel now, because that would just be too embarrassing. Get copyright struck for singing badly. Classic like that. This brush is not good. It's got a little stray hair, and I don't like it. I'll switch after I do this hand. It's giving me problems, but I'm going to stick with it. Why am I loyal to this brush? It didn't do anything for me. That's me in a nutshell. How is your local water? In some places, you have to make it into tea or coffee to make it even close to palatable. I only drink at funerals and weddings. The water here is fine. The water here is fine, so it's not a problem. Yeah, I've always actually pretty much always lived in places that have pretty good tasting water. I've given up different things over the years: coffee, drank tea, social media, stumped for what I'll do next year. It's an annual sort of process. You find out what is the thing that for me, it's what is the thing I'm using as a crutch that I will be able to take back up again, because you don't give up things that are wicked. You should be giving them up anyway, just for your own sake, if not for your religion. But what am I using as a crutch that I could do without, that I should do without? This guy's got a little flashing sticking out on his hand that I missed. You want to hear the scream. I can't do it too loud because everyone's asleep. The pooch just went down, and Faux Fire went upstairs for bed. Boys were in bed a long while ago. So Fleetwood had Ventures tonight. It's the next level up from Scouts, I guess. I never went that far. I was in Cubs, and I was terrible at it. Not terrible at it. I always used my can paint in the camera, you doof. I used my not that camera shot's that great that you could see it. Okay, you know what I'm going to raise this a little bit. You don't need to see down there. You can see my bowl of pretzels. I used to use my Cub shirt, which is blue, as a Union Army uniform. I was really big into the Civil War, American Civil War. It's when I lived in Janesville. Oop, blopped on his uniform, but that's okay, because I'll come back later, and then I'll blop on his hand, and I'll be upset. I won't know what to do with my life. Yeah, I played Civil War. Like, it's, what are you gonna? Hey, Aaron, what are you playing? I'm playing Civil War. Okay, weirdo. But I ran around with that, and then of course my Cub uniform would be dirty, right? Yeah, the Cub leader was all cheesed off with me, and he wasn't cheesed off with me. He understood why I did it. He got me. He'd been a cop, or did he know a cop? One of the two. He got me a cop's uniform, a shirt to wear. I was a Cub. I was a big, tall kid. It was a bit poochy on me because you'd expect it to be a cop and everything, but He took all the badges off, unfortunately. Yeah, I had this. Remember those caps, the little red caps? They came on a circle for a six shooter, but you'd also get them in a strip. And I had a musket that had that cap thing. You can insert a cap in, and you know. Um, so that was what I used when I was playing Civil War alone in my backyard. Because I'm an only child that nobody loves. Give up beer. Well, there you go. Is Blame Canada the alternate national anthem? No, that's the U.S.'s alternative national anthem. Do I ever call a family by their character names by mistake away from the table? I do not. I do not. In fact, I have not even come close to. I've not even come close to calling them by their real names on here. For some reason, the two things just very much separate for me. And I did play Civil War alone. I have to say, I played most things alone until we moved. We moved around a lot when I was a kid. First of all, my parents divorced when I was 3, but like even when they divorced, we were on our third place. They bought a house, 2 apartments, and then they bought a house, and then divorced. Well, there goes the house, right? But so then after that, I was with my mom for a little while, and then my dad won custody because he had a job and everything like that, and then went back and forth. And my father died when I was 7, so back with and then he moved after he won custody. He moved to another city, another town, way up northern Wisconsin, and then he died, so I went back and lived with my mom. She remarried, so we moved into his place. Then they divorced, and then out of there back again. So I was always moving. So it was hard to keep friends. Cap guns are great. Do you remember the smell? Yes, I do. The ones that were the little flat ones on the strip. Yeah. Yeah, it had a great, particularly acrid gunpowder smell. I loved it. He's holding his crossbow kind of funky. He's broken his wrist or something. Oh, well. All right. I could just say they're in plain gray uniforms and not do anything else. When you mentioned that, the first thing I thought of when he said gun, yeah, that smell. I loved it. I used to live very near a battleground here in Atlanta. I have mini bolts and a piece of cannon shell. Cool. I found a Union button on the ruins of an old mill. That is very cool, Road March. Very cool. Am I planning to use the minis as guards? They certainly, 2 of the spear carriers very much look like guards, don't they? I'm going to use them as soldiers. I mean, they're going to be, they could be town guards later on if the party goes down to Kamoik, because I'm painting them blue and white per the group's decision. So they could be town guards in Kamoik itself, the seat of the barony. They could be regular soldiers, conscripts, whatever, just wearing the Baron's colors. That's the big thing. They're wearing the Baron's colors. They're the Baron's troops. So the baddies, if you will. I am on screen. It's not, you can't really see much, but who was seceding? Who was seceding? Seceding and succeeding, and evidence that they are not the same thing. If they had made some of the Civil War movies that they ended up making, in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s kind of era, if those had been around, I would have been in my glory. Glory being one of them. Was Gods and Monsters on one of them? Gettysburg with Martin Sheen as Martin Sheen as Ulysses S. Grant. It's cool. You want to notice something recently? The the computer is an AI thing scanning all of the videos, and if you mention a famous person, it'll put it down below. And I like to think that Martin Sheen is going to get a note saying you were mentioned in the Dungeon Minister's video. So Martin Sheen and Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez, great. Hi. Martin Sheen, love the cardinal you're named after. Can I admit something embarrassing? I was in my 30s before I realized that the bird, the cardinal, was named after the Roman church official. Just not connecting, not connecting. Kennesaw, Georgia, bled the Union white, so they went around. Reloading those 8-shot rings. Remember? Yep. Hello, Calvinoni, the one and only. Several cannonballs from the War of 1812. My heavens, Bob. Glory was a great movie. You wouldn't think that Matthew Broderick would, you'd like, really? But he did well. I really like in Gettysburg, I have to say, the movie Gettysburg, the acting is fabulous. There are some fabulous actors. The pace of it is glacial. And I get they're trying to capture the gravitas of what's happening, But well, there you go, General. I don't feel so bad now. They're trying to capture the gravitas and the importance of what was happening. But that is those battle scenes are so slow. And I get, again, that a battle actually would not have been paced like a Hollywood movie. I get it. Hard to watch. And it's a long movie. It's not like it needed the runtime, But I do really like the fellow from the Maine brigade, his charge down the hill. I think that was a fun scene. Mustache. All right. My flash is done. I have been to Gettysburg. I went there as a 14-year-old in the year between 8th and 9th grade. There was a trip led by Mr. Addy. And Mr. Addy was a social studies teacher, and I ended up taking his classes. And he was great because you could easily distract him, ask him a question, and he'd forget to assign you homework. Fabulous. He took the group out there, and I spent so much money on Civil War miniatures, right? Which look like giants compared to the minis I play with now. I spent so much money on those miniatures that I had nothing for food at the end. So in Philadelphia, on our way, we were looping back. We went to Philadelphia. There was a street cart selling soft pretzels with cheese dip. And I bought him out. I bought all of his pretzels because it was all I could afford. It was like, oh, this will give me the bulk I need for like the 2 days to get home. Ridiculous. Well, you can get back on the bus at least. Oh, pretzels. I thought Broderick played that. He did play it well. But I mean, if you really, it's like when Michael Keane, see, there's another one. Michael Keane, Matthew Broderick, Cary Elwes. Come on, guys. When Michael Keaton was tapped to play Batman in the first Tim Burton, I mean, everyone was like, really, Mr. Mom? You want Mr. Mom to play Batman? Because he'd done this really light stuff before that. But he was so good, right? Just give him a chance. Give him a chance. Yeah. A little more Peacock in there. This is going to be their unis. Now, I got to decide what's white and what's blue, don't I, folks? Yes, I do. Struggle meals. It was, I was not popular either because other kids wanted pretzels and I'd bought them all, but it was a matter of survival for me, so I kind of had to. Like, really, you ate pretzels for 2 days straight. Why do you have diabetes? Oh well. I mean, not that the pretzels did it, but being the kind of kid who would eat pretzels for 2 days straight probably means I'm the kind of person who doesn't. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I kind of have to respect diabetes because it's a disease that tells you what it wants you to do at the very front, right? First syllable. This is what I want you to do. So what is it? We got a blue tunic and white pants. Hungar, the Starvarian. Hello, Hungar. How do I feel about living in both the USA and Canada? Well, I don't. I only live in one at a time. Um, and drinking town with a history problem. Um, Canada and Ontario specifically and Wisconsin are a lot alike. A lot alike. Um, yeah, here. He's not going to show up anywhere. Um, so he has sort of cowl, and not it's a thing, and then a tunic, pants. What do I want to do? Do I want to try tunic in blue, cowl, undershirt white, pants white? What do you think? What do you think? It doesn't have a line on it where I could do half and half. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Now, what I've been doing, and again, this may be the wrong technique. Maybe I'm botching it. I've always done, though, started from the furthest in. So the flesh first, then the helmet, and hair, and then helmet, clothes. I've always added on. So I don't know. Is that the right or wrong technique there? I don't know. Fernando, by the way, how's family doing? How's family doing? How are things in the home front? A small one. Brave New World, eh? Two-tone tunics area. White blue stripes for leggings. What are you doing to me, General? What are you doing to me? You've seen my painting. Can you see my painting? Yeah, barely. The funny thing about this is you really actually can't see what I'm doing because the camera is not that. The lighting isn't very good, I guess. But yeah, I've always started at the inside and gone out. The figuring that it would be easier to avoid slopping down. Just got done washing baby bottles. Oh, there, you're right in the thick of it. Right in the thick of it. Hello, Forge and Brush. Forge and Brush, Flint Fire Forge is here. Forge and Forge, Fire and Flint, Brush and Flint, I guess. Brush and Flint. Talk amongst yourselves about Forge-related items. Yeah, I enjoyed having little kids. I enjoy it. I enjoy them at the age they're at now. Don't get me wrong. But there is something about the little ones. There's a couple babies in the parish right now, and I just love it. I just love it. One of them in particular, he's got a big round head and red hair, bright red hair. His dad's a redhead, and I guess his mom has sort of reddish hair, but it's more subtle with her. With the dad, it's pretty red, and he's got it. He's got the red hair, and he's the cutest thing. Gets a big smile, Whenever I see him, I say his name. He's like, toothless smile. This stray hair is driving me nuts. Don't look. Painting purists, don't look. I don't know what I'm doing. This is driving me crazy, though. Get rid of it. Gotta get rid. Okay, try not holding that. That might help. Um, Adorable kid. Like, I don't know if 50-year-old men get broody, but there's some kids in the parish that do make me really long for little ones again. We have this little boy who comes. His parents bring him to their early liturgy, 8:30, and he's so inquisitive. What's this? Why is that? Um, uh, Teutonic tunics. He asks about everything. He's just adorable, and his parents keep apologizing. Sorry, he's asking all these questions. I'm like, are you kidding me? I wish the adults would ask this many questions. I love it. And yeah, there's no way I'm getting to the dragon tonight. Not unless I'm painting until 6 in the morning. That's okay. Because even slopping it on, I mean, I can only be so sloppy. I don't feel right. I'm not going to go over everything 17 times though, and keep repeating that to myself all evening. I'm not going to keep going over everything 17 times. I'm not going over everything 17 times. What did he do? He went over everything 17 times. The worst live stream ever. Oh well. You got the time, we got the beer. So filling, bad taste. And so filling, no taste. So filling, no taste. Do you remember the TV show Benson? 80s sitcom. Benson was what was he like, in the mayor's office or something? Or I don't remember now. But there was one where they were stuck. The only thing they had to drink was some warm beer, and it was at the whole great filling, great less filling, great taste period, and the two characters are sitting there leaning against a car, I think, and they're drinking this beer, and it's so filling, no taste. The things that you preserve from childhood. The wife works. Well, you go up. Dragons are a job all their own. They really are. My wife works in the parish office, so the priests know very well what the baby sounds like when she speaks during mass. Yes. Yes. Benson was the butler, was he? Okay. I thought that with Mr. Belvedere, I suppose you could have two shows about a butler, couldn't you? Jeeves is not a butler. It's a valet. I have trouble getting to sleep at night. And so one of the cures for it that I have found is to listen on actually that cell phone with the headphones on, listening to P.G. Wodehouse stories. He wrote Jeeves' books, turned into the TV show Jeeves and Wooster. With here we go, dropping more names to get more mention action going on. But with Stephen Fry as Jeeves and Hugh Laurie as Wooster. The stories are fabulous. Wodehouse has such facility with language. He's absolutely wonderful. He can turn a phrase in a way that just. My favorite, I think, was she had a laugh like a squadron of cavalry crossing a tin bridge. You know exactly what she sounded like, right? A laugh like a squadron of cavalry crossing a tin bridge. I mean, that is. Speaking of Fran from The Nanny, I couldn't with that show because of that voice. Ugh. Fran Drescher. Sorry, Fran, if the AI sticks in the mention, and you come and you say, "Oh, what are they saying about me?" Very sorry, but I couldn't stand your voice. Really, just not for me. Okay, not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Does Canada Broadcasting show a lot of BBC shows? Eh, not really. Not current ones at any rate. You know what BBC show I really liked? It's not real recent, but it's not, it's not like Are You Being Served vintage. Um, the Detectorists. Anyone else ever see The Detectorists? Very, very fun show. Mackenzie Crook is the writer and star. Toby Jones is in it and is fabulous. I mean, he's always good. I really want to see the one he's in about the postal workers. Um, but and it's just the most charming TV show I think I've ever seen. It's funny, sometimes extremely, bitingly funny, but it's never mean spirited. It's never mocking or vicious. It's just a lovely. Let's see, going up a little bit. Hugh Laurie does that. He does um, Blackadder. Yeah, the boys have just watched the Blackadder series, and I have to admit, I put it in for them, and then kind of remembered how bawdy it is, but it's so funny. And some of the bawdy humor, at least for Bob Johnny, it goes over his head. I mean, he's not old enough to really get why. It's funny that Blackadder's mother thinks he has a sheep in his bedroom, you know, and why Lord Flashheart is the way he is. He doesn't quite get that yet, which is good. I remember Benny Hill from when I was a little kid, and it would come on, and I just always thought that running around fast was funny. The whole and he's running around really fast, and I just like Bob Johnny now. I kind of missed that he was running around chasing women. It didn't really occur to me why he was chasing the women. I guess I knew he was interested in them, but it didn't sort of land with me the full implications of it all. And the British get away with a lot on their TV, don't they? It's all that Anglicanism. Oops. The pants are also going to be white, but I'm just doing sleeves right now. Let's see. Hey there, Dungeon Delver. How are you doing? Good night, Fernando. You are new father. Well, I mean, relatively new. You've got to get your sleep. Thank you, Mr. Delver. That's very kind of you. Blackadder is hilarious. Um, has Canada put in an unsolicited bid for Greenland? You want me to send you back to where I found you, unemployed in Greenland? No, we have not. We have our own issues right now. Our prime minister just resigned. Um, like just a few days ago. It feels like forever now. And the yeah, so that's the political news, and everyone's running away from replacing him. Nobody wants the job. I don't think anyone wants the job. Thank you, Flint. Thank you very much. We are not an empire, but we could be old empire loyalists. No, it would make more sense for Canada to have Greenland than the United States. I have to say that much. We're certainly closer, and we get the weather. But no, I think that would be. Like, I'm pretty sure it's bluster, but boy, that would be That would be hilarious to well, maybe it'd be horrible, but also hilarious to actually see a hot war break out over Greenland. Like, are you kidding me? I get that it's strategically located, but really, an actual war over Green? I mean, like it was a joke in the Princess Bride, right? That's not his shirt. That's the butt end of his the butt end of his thingy higgiemy. What's the thing he's shooting? A crossbow. I should be up late. Yeah, I'm gonna have to draw back on my. I mean, perfectionism is not the right word because my work is so far from perfect that it's not even in the same zip code. But I need to kind of draw back on my. I tell you, uh, Trudeau being told to pound sand. He ended up telling himself that in the end. Um, yeah, I have to say he was not my favorite prime minister so far. We've had a few since I've gotten here, and mostly because of his voice. That sort of soft voice. I couldn't. It's like I feel like it was being talked like I was in third grade. You know, did not go for it. Although I can't say Pierre Polyev has a great voice. Very nasal. Very nasal. Oh man, what did I get myself into? You know what's bothering me right now? Um, Down at the bottom, there's a little bit of the under tunic sticking out. So now I think I have to paint it. Am I a glutton, people? Yes. Well, that's not that tough actually, because I can just go over and I can fix the sloppiness with the blue in a bit. There's part of me that thinks I should do this in a sort of Swiss Guard style, but I don't have that kind of patience. Touchberry really was like, that Swiss Guard, that's kind of cool. I like that. I want to be a Swiss Guard. I had to break it to him. You're not Swiss. You could guard, but you're not Swiss. Okay, the pants are going to have to be a different color because I've done this shirt that sticks off the bottom of the tunic, and I don't want that much white close. Let's see. Source of rare earth. Rare earth minerals and oil. Yeah, so is Canada, though. Gonna take Greenland, then Iceland, then Ireland, then England. There'll always be an England, at least till 6 o'clock. Yeah. The whole gag about Canada's the 51st state. It's like just getting under people's skin, right? That's the whole point. Get under people's skin. Well, that's looking pretty good. I have to say, I'm liking the look. These guys can stay. I like them. I do see this as a place where I should do blue around the neck. Right around the neck. Do I actually want to do it? I don't know. I don't know. So I was very pleasantly surprised. Not Swiss, but I like the cheese. Um, I was very pleasantly surprised when I put out my last video, the lore dump, the sort of history and stuff about the Honeywood campaign. That has just shot up in the views. It has gone very high in the views, and the algorithm actually shared it. So I was pleased to see that. I'm not going to start doing, you know, a bunch of world building. Now he looks like a Puritan, really. Kind of. I wish this would focus better. Kind of looks like a Puritan. Can I do it here? Kind of looks like, he's a roundhead. Ah, I've painted the enemy. Um, yeah, but it was kind of cool. It was like, hey, that really took off. I'm pleased with that. It's not a regular format. Maybe it's because it was a sort of change of pace thing, but it did well. It did well. I was just happy about it. I'll have to fix that later. I just blopped. Oh man, why didn't I look at this more carefully before? I thought I could rip out 4 of them in a night. There's this detail here. It's gonna kill me. All right, get in there. Don't get the face. Don't hit the face. I don't like having to come back and redo things. I would. I totally would, but I don't like it. Maybe he has a gray garment as well. Of course, it'll never be the 51st state. It never would. Yeah, I don't think they're not joining the U.S. They're not going to join the U.S. Like you don't leave one big country to go be part of a bigger one, right? They want to be themselves. They want to be themselves. Oh, again, I mean, it's just trolling, right? I mean, it's internet trolling in real life. It's surreal, though, I have to say. Part of it's surreal to, just the idea that a world leader is saying things like that. The other part that's surreal is how seriously the Canadian media are taking it. They're really talking about it a lot. It's like, nice. Okay. Get your little skirt down here, sir. Did I get the last guy's skirt? I can't remember. Oh man, I'm really gonna have to fix that. It's a bad one. Blurp. I'm gonna have to give him like gray pants or something. Partly because I'm looking at the contrast here and it works, and second of all, because I have to go back and fix what I just did. Oh man, I really have too much paint on the brush. That's my problem. Way too much paint on the brush. Yeah. So it would simplify my mother coming to visit. You didn't get notice of the Hollywood history video. Oh, well, there you are. It is out there. It went live about a day ago, I want to say. It's yeah. Now here's a question: did I post that on Twix and Facebook and stuff? I don't know if I actually did that. I don't know if I did, which is funny because like for it to have been as big as it was, I mean, for my channel, not really huge, but for my channel, big. If I didn't post it places, that was really kind of cool, really. Go a little further with that. You gotta have the weight's got to go down the other side. That doesn't work otherwise. Okay, come on, just a little bit of white. Don't want too much. What is this thing? Chunky, chalky. The problem with using craft painting, I keep getting these big chalky lumps, which is what I had for breakfast this morning. Chalky lumps. They were delicious. Okay. Here we are. No, I didn't do his skirt last time. Ow. Ow. It's going to be huge. Um, It is about TNT. It is about TNT. It is. Mm. It's about me. About me having conniptions about this white shirt tail, and I really don't need to. Shirt tails. Do you remember that cartoon? Like in the 80s, they would make a cartoon out of anything. Remember, they had those shirts, and then if they had some concept, they said something or whatever, their shirt would change and show the word. Good night, Flint. $30 igloo dollars. God bless you. God bless you, Bill. Okay. What are we gonna do? All right. Ow, pretzels. Need pretzels. DuckTales. Yes, it was the same era. The Shirt Tails is probably a little later. There was like a little tiger, different critters, right? Different animals. Little tiger was one of them. Okay. Um, we're gonna have. Where is it? Oh, come on. Pardon me. Where did he go? Oh, it's at that end of the drawer. Silver. Hello, Dungeon Matron. Dungeon Matron, do you remember Shirt Tails? Because a little silver here. Because they've got hats. They've got hats. Not that you can see me painting them. I realize the lighting is so bad, but oh well. They're tiny little guys anyway. You probably wouldn't have shown up terribly well on camera. You've got the time, we've got the beer, man. Remember the Miller Lite, the Miller High Life commercials? Like the one the guy's going to the supermarket. You can't see his face. Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light. Guy's going through. He's just big beer belly, and he's pulling plastic containers out of the fridge, the cooler. It's ham salad, macaroni salad, tuna salad, and it just shows him standing at the cart and crosses his arms over his big belly. Otherwise, no salad. Love that. Are you a salad eater? Do people call you Sal the salad eater? No, they don't. That's why you're a high life man. And it's such a fabulous ad at a time when, like most advertising was trying to get away from the idea of the beer drinker as this beer belly kind of, they just embraced it. They just said, yes, that's our guy. Gotta have more of that. It's very funny. And I like the one with he's repairing a window. Oh, looks like the kids have gotten a little rambunctious with their baseball. Well, that's okay. Those kids can throw as many baseballs, footballs, or basketballs as they want. But if a soccer ball ever comes through your window, well, those kids will have words with a high life man. It's just very Milwaukee. Very Milwaukee. You're so old you don't even remember Shirt Tail? I tell you. It was, I mean, it was of its time. It was the 80s. It was that was probably later 80s, and it was a fun cartoon. I mean, you know, for its genre. The one thing I don't think it was really attached to merchandise, which is unlike most of the 80s cartoons, which were all just extended commercials. I mean, Visionaries being one of them. And it was the same like 17 actors who did everything, right? Because in Visionaries, Modred was Starscream, was also Cobra Commander, you know. And then I noticed that when I was in university and we would watch Animaniacs, and Maurice LaMarche did everything. He was the brain. But D-Brain, what you want to do tonight? Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering? I think so, Brain. But where are we going to find 300 monkeys and a length of rubber hose at this time of night? Which always led me to wonder, what is that mouse pondering? What is Pinky pondering? He thinks that's what Brain is pondering. You're hearing the theme song? Excellent. Shirt tails. Woo woo. Secret Galaxy, Toy Galaxy, a lot about vintage shows in the 70s. I think I might see that. I think I might have seen that. Big belly, cooler beer drinker. Moved here, Bob, I moved here in 2004 when I began seminary. Moved into Toronto to the Roncesvalles neighborhood of Toronto, the Polish neighborhood. Great food. There's a restaurant in Roncesvalles Village, on Roncesvalles, called Chopin. They serve the best soup in the world, bar none. It's so good. I think the secret is that when they're done with a jar of pickles, they empty the brine into the soup mixture. It's so tasty. All their food is pretty good, but the soup is I mean, they have very good pierogies. Soup is out of this world. Out of this world. And can you believe I lived in Milwaukee from Janesville? I know how to say the name Grabowski, and yet it was not until I got to Toronto that I had pierogies. Just never had them before. I love what a little silver paint can do to a figure's helmet. Where are we going to find rubber pants our size? I was in college too, Road March. That was the same. That was the same era. It's the same era. Yeah, Animaniacs, Ren and Stimpy. Cartoons got very weird for a while, right? Like super weird. Happy, happy, joy, joy, joy. You know Janesville. So then you know the enormous cow near the exit to the freeway. Am I glad to be out of Toronto? You know, yes and no. Mostly yes. It's very crowded. It's pretty dirty. I do miss Chopin and the little coffee shops and stuff like that. I mean, we have coffee shops here, but they're not the same. I like a little slower. There would be moments when Gummy Bears was surprisingly good. Lorenzo Music was in that. He was also the voice of Garfield. I am killing the mentions tonight. I am killing them. If they actually ever see that I've mentioned them, I'll be all over Hollywood. If Hollywood exists by that point. Let's see. Log, it's better than bad. It's good. To the log. Yeah, it's really fun. I got your log right here. It's a new international log. Rolls downstairs, alone or impaired, rolls over your neighbor's dog. great for a snack. It fits on your back. It's log, log, log. Okay. Um, at some point, I have to do the blue. I don't want to because I'm afraid. But here I go. Here I go. Ooh, try to do it in camera. The air is less brown. That's right. You're out that way. Shadow's over there too. But I think he's further away. I think he's further away. It's weird how, like, the internet. Oh, say Shadow's name, and here he is. Shadow, you're out that way. Uh, Rock Siger. One thing about internet friends is that when things happen, you probably know someone who lives near it. I remember when the train derailment in Ohio happened. It turned out Squirrel Hermit lived a few miles away. He wasn't that far, right? It was just it was a random kind of thing. Like, oh gosh, I know someone who's by that. That's a little weird. When all of your friends are met in person, if something happens to your friends, it's happening near you, right? But I mean something of a national news kind of level. You don't end up looking on the news to see it because you're near it. But when it's friends online, primarily or exclusively online. So they say the West is nice. Rock sugar. Oh, you're 100. Yeah, you're 100. I thought you were a little further. Hey, Shadow, we'd love to see you at Claricon. Love to see you. If you're coming, you got to let me know though, so you got to run a table. You got to run something. If anyone is interested, and you don't already know, Claricon is October 24th through 26th. The registration details aren't up yet, and we're not that far along. But just you could put that in your calendar. And if you would like to run a table, you let me know. Speaking of Squirrel, I'm hoping to get him to run a table. Harn, maybe. He's very good. He's a big Harn guy. But if he doesn't want to run Harn, that's okay. No Harn, no foul. I would love for you to run a virtual Claricon game. Bill, that'd be fabulous. Yes, there was a big train derailment in Mississauga, and they were going they're going door to door trying to get, hey, Bear, the Gen X GM. Speaking of folks who came to Claricon, husband works in Beverly Hills. Yeah, stay home this week. Don't be coming in. You don't need to be part of that. Thank you, Bear. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. You would be honored to run a game. That's fabulous, Shadow. I'd love it if you did. So if you are able to come, and I know that is a very long way. You're in particularly, I think, as far as you could possibly be on the same continent to get here. But I do know, Bob. I'm really looking forward to that. I want to play in the war, the big battle game. Oh, I just Bob. Bill's always he's my promoter. He's my agent. He's my agent. I should do the same when I'm on your side. Hey, I'm one of his patrons. I am a patron. You should be too. And you should really go over to Bill's place. It's awesome over there. Bill, did D and Disabilities video come out yet? I have been hopping crazy busy today, but I saw something come across my feed that that there was a mention that was mentioned in a video, and I assume it's a video. The thing we did recorded a video a little while ago with D and Disability about monsters in the game and stuff like that. I was incoherent and boring as always, but Bill had some good points. So did Harmony Ginger and Bill T. The really cool stuff. Hello, Bo Paints Minis. Bo, look away. You don't want to see what I'm doing because it's not very good. Yeah, this camera's not great. Here, let me. I've buried my mouse behind paint. Let me swap the big for the small. You get to get my ugly face bigger. But that's where we're at so far, with one of them at least. With one of them at least. Earworm has changed from Shirt Tails to Secret Agent Man. Cool. Yeah. Well, like I said, I saw the mention come across, so I'll have it when I'm off. I'll make sure to post a link to it. I didn't think the video was coming out yet, so I think you're right. It's like a short, probably a short advertising the coming video. So is that on camera? Almost on camera. Yeah. So that's pretty close to home for you then, Dungeon Matron. That's pretty close to home for you in terms of the fires. I mean, being told don't come into work. It's like, well, is work going to be there when the fire's over? Is there still a work to come to afterward? It's a little scary. Yes, Bear has a novel up on Amazon. 12 blister packs on Reaper minis tomorrow. Awesome. You're right, Bo. It's you know what? It's a lot of fun. I kind of wish I had done this when I was a kid, but the thing is, when I was a kid, all that there really was testers paint. At least anything that I would have. That's what I would have bought if I would have, if I had like airplane models and tank models, World War II, I had a Messerschmitt and a Avro Lancaster and all this stuff. So I had tested. So I just would have had the sort of caked on, horrible, might as well have used auto paint kind of. That's what testers is, actually. Auto paint. It has that consistency. So it wouldn't have been very good. And I really liked the stripped back look of the metal minis as almost like statues. They were statues, right? Premieres tomorrow. Thank you, Bill. The premiere of that is tomorrow over on D and Disability. I'm sure if you find it. Hello, hello, hello. It should be autographed. Well, Shadow, if you get to Claricon this year, Bear is coming to Claricon this year. There you go. Autograph City. Bear, we can get you a table. You can sit behind it, autographing books. The author and humorist David Sedaris talks about signing books, and he, in order to make it interesting for him, because of course the people coming to get their books signed, they want to meet the author, and it's really exciting for them. But he's seeing person after person, so to make it interesting for him, he would ask random questions. He talks about one time asking someone, "When's the last time you touched a monkey?" And the woman replied, "Oh, can you smell it on me?" The heck? Let's see. Statue. The EF4 tornado that wrecked Greenfield, Iowa was the next town. Oh, yeah. That gets close. That gets close. That gets close. Bill is in the Dungeon Delver, Bill? Yes, he is. Bill is in Paint Minis Live, Bill? No. Bill as in Bill Nye the Science Guy? No. Yeah, it brings some to sell. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll charge you the vendor's rate for the table, which is nothing. We're too small to be charging the vendors money to set up our tables. Although we're growing this year, we've got two venues, and I have secured the second venue, and the first is already reserved, the church hall. But the second venue is reserved, and it's going to be where Bob Hastings is setting up a big old war game. Let's see. There you go, Shadow. We'll have a bookshop of a bookstore. The Storm Chaser thing, man, those people are crazy. Like, I admire the kind of crazy they are, but they are crazy. Okay, get this closer to the light and see. Is that going to drive me crazy? No, that won't drive me crazy. I could walk to crazy from there. All right. Am I getting up around that throat? We all know the answer to that question, don't we? Don't claim that you're selling at the border. That's a very good thing. Yes, Bill Nye got the Medal of Freedom. Freedom to do children's shows. I don't know how I could be saying I need more. Oh, I know what it is. That's why the light's so... Oh, that helps. Hello, Rabovsky. How are you doing? Battle of Agincourt? Oh, that's awesome. I want to play that. The only thing about that is, of course, I still want the English to win. So, you know what? That's gonna be fine. That's gonna be fine. Stop messing with it. Stop messing with it. I think I woke the dog up. That was a bad move. Oh, good night, bear. Good night. Good night, sweet bear. Flights of honeybees sing thee to thy rest. That's right. That's right, Shadow. There is no such thing as too many books. We happy few. Yes. In Soviet Union, you don't chase storms. Storms chase you. Or in the Midwest of the United States. 6-foot rule applies, Padre? Yes, if it's okay, 6 foot. What sorcery is keeping me awake? I am a natural born insomniac there. Mage, how are you doing? How are you doing over there in Trana? We were talking about Trana earlier. You're still living in the big smoke. Living in the big smoke. Along with that crazy Tail of the Manticore. Tail of the Manticore strikes me as someone who gets to bed at a reasonable hour. I've only, seen him at the 2 Claricons, but he really strikes me as the kind of guy who gets to bed at a reasonable hour. Now, I don't think they'll ever see this on here. No, even when I paint it, I'll have to take a picture. He has a dagger in his belt, which is so awesome for a crossbowman to have, because I imagine, just like longbowmen, they would shoot and shoot and shoot, and then when the enemy got too close, or when the enemy fell and they'd shot the knights and they were writhing on the ground, you come up with the dagger and right through the slit in the visor, right? Do you ever watch the History Squad? What's his name? Kev? Yeah. The History Squad? Neat guy. He's a archer. He did, like kind of living history stuff at English Heritage sites. Very interesting presenting style, and he's British but lives in Canada now on the prairies. I can't remember if it's Alberta or Saskatchewan or Manitoba or what, but he lives here in Canada. He's a lot of fun. It does a lot of good stuff, and he's always talking about how the archers would go in and stab. He is awesome. My name is Earl. I don't know that. Oh, good. The Claricon recap part 2 is ready. Touchberry was pleased to see himself depicted in paper in the Touchberry played in Mage's game at the Claricon. So he was pleased to see himself depicted in paper. And, Bob Johnny, disappointed that he wasn't able to be there, but there you go. The way it goes. It's the way the plague rolls. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Great pose. Accurate for, holding a crossbow. Really hard to paint, guys. Whoever modeled this, thanks a lot. Oh well, again, accurate. Can't argue with it too much. But I can kvetch. Fractured fairy tales. Yes, he did, and he thought that was funny. The plague. That made him giggle a bit. Okay. Yeah, they're not too bad. I mean, I'm trying to make myself be a little less hard on myself about the lines here. Like, I want to be hard enough on myself that it looks decent, but realistic as well. Realistically hard. Is that a thing? Just remembering what it was you were going to go paint a thing. Got the brush ready, and I'm like, what was I doing again? I don't remember. My paint camera is frozen. Oh, my paint camera is gone. My paint camera may have run out of batteries. Let me see. I think my paint camera ran out of batteries. So here's what I'm going to do. There we are. Oh, it's again my face. Probably not needed. Jason Lee plays a white trash character trying to undo his list of folks he had wronged throughout his sad life. Kind of heartwarming, but full of white trash greatness. White trash greatness. By definition, an impossibility, but there you go. Let's get in there for this detail that I missed last time. It is driving me crazy. Shit drives me crazy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Like no one else. I can't help myself. Yes, child of the 80s, 70s. Best of the 70s, 80s, and today. Okay. Oh, now I have to paint over here. Paint in place. Too much paint. So what are people playing lately? I've finally gotten back into a rhythm with the Heroes of Honeywood and played a session with my friendly local game shop group, which doesn't meet at the game shop anymore, but I still call it that. Um, and changed your good. I never had a mullet. You know what I did? Fine young cleric. Here you go. I never had a mullet. You know what I did do though? I tried to have. I guess it's not really a mullet. I tried to have the hair that um, Michael Douglas has in *Romancing the Stone*. I loved that movie. Watched it over and over. I taped it off of TV. Remember when you could do that? When it's on TV and just set your VCR to record. And so I had a very bad copy of it with commercials and everything else in it. But loved that movie, and I wanted to be that character. That what's its name? Jack T. What does the T stand for? Trouble. Yeah, I wanted to be that guy, and so I grew my hair long. The problem is, back then I had hair, and a lot of it, and it just poofed up. It just got big. I just ended up looking like Diana Ross or something. Which nothing wrong with Diana Ross, but not what a 15-year-old boy wants to look like. I didn't have the rugged, chiseled good looks that I have now. Har, 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 har. I ran across a picture of myself in high school, and we did the play Inherit the Wind. I played one of the lawyers, and Drummond, lawyer for the defense, and there's a picture taken of me backstage, and it could be Fleetwood. It could be Fleetwood today. I mean, you have to look at carefully at it, no, because he's got a lot of his mum in it as well. But dang it, I messed up the shirt, and that I can't let go. That's too. It's funny. It's even a smaller amount of paint than I've made mistakes other places, but it's the style of the problem. It's the style of the mistake that bothers me. Yeah. See, running a D&D 1E game with Cal, Justin Armstrong, Omenal, an off-grid gamer, and a couple other folks every Sunday night. That's cool. My own RPGs are on hiatus, says Mage. Although the groups are itching to get back to it, I need to catch up with the Night Below recaps before resuming. Great Friday group DM, but she'll say they play 5e. Well, you know what? At least I get to homebrew the campaign. They're consistent, great people. I'm lucky. From what I hear, and I don't know because I have not played it, but from what I hear, I've played it a couple of times. From what I hear, if you go 5e core rule books, it's not a bad game. It's different, but it's not the right. It's not the same. It's not the same game. But it's still a good game. And that's always the thing I think. It's like Call of Cthulhu is a different game too. Also good, right? It doesn't have to be the same game. It's just because it has the same name on the tin doesn't mean it has to be the same game. It can still be good, even if it's a different thing. I mean, I have to say, I have not cared for the times I've played 5e. I don't like how powerful the characters are. I don't like how difficult it is to die. I like that sense of, but that's, that's my clerical guilt and all that kind of stuff. I like that about old school. But fix this. That's bad. I will say I had an interesting game the other day. Bob Johnny ran He's running. He calls the Order of the Stick game because we use exclusively Order of the Stick minis. And that is Mage's influence. Thank you very much. We have paper all over our house. And a Dungeon Matron playing in a D&D 5e campaign and an easy D6 and an ongoing Cult of Cthulhu. Very into Midland Fantasy RPG, not terrible. Yes, anyway, he runs 5e because when they first started wanting to get their own books, I really didn't want them to have all the Beckme books and all the monsters. I wanted to still be able to surprise them with things. So they went out and they got, and it turns out, of course, most of the monsters are still in there. Their stats are different, but they're in there. But anyways, he runs a 5e game for Fleetwood and I. And the quest we got, we came across this. I can't remember what the hook was, but we were sent to collect animals, not monsters, animals for a zoo. We have been to the zoo recently, and Bob Johnny likes the zoo. He likes animals a lot. He's a big animal guy. So, I mean, it's the genesis of it. But so we had to go out and capture animals rather than kill things, right? So it was had a different quality to it. It was very fun. It was very fun. He did a good job of that. A very good job of it. Yes, you've left your mark. It's, again, all over our house, little bits of paper here and there and everywhere. Oh, I'll be bringing just some random cut up pieces of paper over to your apartment next time I come over. Leave them all over the place. Dang it. Oh, you played in our town? Bob, you would be a very good stage manager in our town. Just you personally. I think you'd make it be a natural for it. Unless, of course, you did it like 40 years ago, in which case, 40, you would have been a young man. That would have been weird to have you as stage manager then, unless you were in high school, where everyone's a young man. Even the women are young men. Even the high school girls are young men. That's weird. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm always out in Scarborough. Ran a Christmas game where Santa gave the party gifts. One of the members received a lump of coal. I wanted to make it special. Any suggestions? Yes. Yes. Dungeon Matron, it is the lump of coal. You can light it and it burns. And it gives off heat. You can cook with it. You can see by it. You can extinguish it by dumping water on it. But as soon as it dries out, you can light it again with the same intensity, and it never gets any smaller. It's an eternal. They never have to buy. They never have to collect firewood ever again. They never have to worry about torches ever again. You can get a little thing to carry it in. You played the stage manager? Yeah, obviously, but anyone who's met Bob knows he played the stage manager. You'd be a natural at that. That's fabulous. I would have loved to see that. You'd be great at that. Never burns the owner. That's a nice addition, Shadow. That's a nice addition. Never burns out. Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe instead of you don't even have to douse it with fire. You could just command it to go out. That'd be cool. Or go the touchberry way. You can light it. It stays lit. It will stay lit. It won't ever go out. But you can throw it at someone, and if you throw it, it explodes in a fiery burst of sparks that covers the target and everyone around the target and will light them on fire and do fire damage. And you can call it a torchberry. It's like a berry that blows up. Okay, let's see. I do need to go back. I said I wasn't going to go back and retouch things, but some of these collars, I'm sorry. That's soldier. That is just not acceptable. You call that a clean uniform, soldier? No self-respecting soldier in his army is going around in a collar that dirty. Now, of course, it can't be too white either. It shouldn't be making it too pretty. Regular men in barracks don't grow into plaster saints. You have a good night, Bob. You have a very good night. I did give them white collars, but they're much bigger than a clerical collar. Like, yeah, that's not. Again, that's not. Although it does look like a doily that you're serving a severed head up on. Have a good night. Have a good night. Anyone who doesn't know Bob, he's good people. If you've not met Bob, you got to meet Bob. Reason right there to come to Claricon. He's good people. All right, looks like I'm getting into details. Only the Navy wears white uniforms? No, they're blue. These are blue, technically. They say white on them. Okay. Now I need some brown. I need something I didn't get out yet. Oh, we'll do cinnamon brown. When we do a thing called Family Church where I tell Bible stories using those little peg people, and I paint the little peg people. And when I came to do Jesus, I just grabbed the first brown I could find for his hair, and it was cinnamon brown. So now Jesus had cinnamon brown hair in all the stories. I had to make sure every time I did it, because I did a pre-resurrection Jesus and a post-resurrection Jesus, and I did a few Jesuses because I didn't want to always be tracking down the one, and I knew we'd get all dinged up if we used the same peg person for every time. So I had to always make sure cinnamon brown hair for Jesus, cinnamon brown hair. I think about that whenever I use it to paint some orc's belt, This guy's no orc. He may be fighting on the wrong side, but he's not an orc. Dog dish hats. I GM a game on Friday night via Discord. Shadows in the group. I'm not the best GM, but my NPCs are awesome, and I do all the voices. That's awesome. And you know what? There you go, Bo. 6-foot rule applies in DMing as well. I saw a meme the other day. It's fabulous. It's me reacting to my players' conspiracy theories about the campaign that I've been winging the entire time. And my game shop game is like that. They just went down into a cave, and I tell you, some of the stuff that came out on the fly, I'm making up. They came to a room, and I'm designing this as we're going, right? And I decided it would be a temple of the old sun worshippers. And they found a series of jars, and it was slightly like canopic jars, but I wanted to change the vibe. And good night, Bob. When you open the jar, light pours out, sun god, right? But it doesn't just shine out. It comes out like mist almost, but it's globular, and it hangs around the opening. And then if you set it on the altar, there's a picture, painted around the jar of a procession being led by a larger figure with a sun for the head. When you place the jar on the altar, the light sucks back into the jar, and it glows so bright that it casts shadows on the wall, and the scene of the procession is cast on the wall, and they begin moving around the wall. And behind the leader appears the words of a spell. And there's I originally said 6 jars, but then I decided that I said 5 or 6. I think I did say 5 or 6. It was going to be 6, one for each ability score. But then I changed my mind. Just one of them has been taken and used already. So there were only 5. And if you speak the words of the spell while the jar is open in the room, the that ability score temporarily, your bonus, you get a +2 bonus for that ability score temporarily. So like your constitution, suddenly you get 2 more hit points, temporary. Strength, you get a +2 strength bonus for damage and melee. Dexterity, you get a +2, So, and there were different animals. So the human was the constitution, because it was the first one I did, and I was feeling my way out. I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet. Then I had a lion, and that was strength. And a baboon was dexterity. There's an eagle that's well, that's way more than I need. An eagle that is intelligence, and an ox that is wisdom. So I'm doing all this in the moment, trying to think what animals and what scores. I could have done owl for wisdom, but I thought that was too easy, right? I already did an eagle. I didn't want an eagle and an owl. I thought that was just too many birds. And I just thought that the owl for wisdom would be too on the nose. This is just a different brown I'm using for his pouch. I generally like to differentiate browns if I'm doing a pouch. I missed a whole swath of blue on this guy. Man. Love running the game's improv. I have no idea what's going to happen. It does bite the railroading in the butt. Oh, although you can come up with something in the moment and then try to push your players toward it. It's less likely because you haven't invested a whole night's worth of preparation. But never underestimate my ability to be besotted with an idea I just had. Okay. Man, there's a lot that I'm missing here. I shouldn't have turned the light up. It does. It does Dungeon Matron, and that's one problem I have in that area, because my boys really do like the terrain and I like preparing it. It's real hard to improv terrain. I mean, you can do, like, if the Shadow saying, if it's outside, like if he's inside in a dungeon, he might prepare the dungeon. But if you're outside, if you've got trees and you've got rocks, I mean, at some point, how many times can they pass the exact same rock, right? Didn't we see that rock 3 miles back? Shush you. The funny thing is, my boys will usually the trees can be perfectly random. I don't care where they are, right? And so if I'm going to change the forest layout, they'll just grab trees and move things around. And sometimes, though, we're entering combat, and I see them putting the trees in places that will benefit them in the combat. Something to hide behind. I always move those. Oh, you don't. You don't get to place the trees where you want to. Okay, I was doing something. I was on to belts. Blank battle mat with a handful of dice as trees and rocks. Yeah, that does help. It does help. Although I do like the dollar store Christmas tree decorations, right? Little trees. I like those. Man alive. Yeah, and then they went down another passage. My game shop game. And because the sun worshippers, a lot of their magic is about passageways. This passage, the further they went down it, the more insubstantial they became. It was basically a potion of gaseous form, but in hallway shape, right? The more you went down it, and and then at the end, I said, okay, what am I going to do with this? Where is this going? Right? It came to a dead end, apparently, but they're all gassy, and there's a small crack that they can slip through. Okay, great. And when they slip through, they find themselves in a chamber with a column on which is a large cup. And if they put water into the cup and drink it, they go through. Oh, I've skipped the best part. They go through the little crack in the wall, they get sucked through. And on their spit out on the other side, I randomly rolled and they swapped bodies. So suddenly the cleric was an elf, and the magic user and then the other elf switched bodies. And we really regretted that the dwarf wasn't there, because the magic user and the dwarf just hate each other. And I would have ignored the dice and made them switch bodies, because it would have been funny. But they so then they're in this. Now they're solid, so they get spit out, but then made solid in this room. Again, there's this cup, and if they put water in the cup, they become gaseous again, right? And they can, hey, Bo, you have a good shift. Do you know a blessing for night shift nurses? Oh, there's a beautiful prayer. Keep watch, dear Lord, with those who work or watch or weep this night, and give your angels charge over those who rest. Protect the sick, Lord Christ. Heal the sick, Lord Christ. Soothe the suffering. Shield the innocent. Bless the dying. And all for your love's sake. Amen. I love that prayer. You have a good shift. Do be the hands and feet of compassion, sir. Yes, they get on the other side and they're solid again in different bodies. Then hey, you have a good night. You have a good night, Delver. Thanks for coming, and thanks again for the super there, dude. Thank you. And so they go misty again, and the ceiling goes way up, and they find 80, 90 feet in the air. They find a ledge with a whole bunch of statues, and the statues, some of them are wearing jewelry, holding swords, and they all look precious. One just has its hands open like that, full of gems. But of course, with in misty form, they can't really pick the things up. But if they try, the more they try, the more solid they get, till eventually they can pick it up. But then they're 90 feet up in the air, and where they plunge to their deaths. And it's, they also have seen around the statues are skeletons and desiccated corpses, etc. So of others who've gotten up there, grabbed the gold, and now can't get down. So then they have to figure out how to get misty again. And it doesn't just automatically happen. They have to go back and drink from the cup again. The problem is, anytime they touch the treasure, they become solid. And so they're trapped in this room unless they leave the treasure. So that was kind of a Treasure of the Sierra Madre thing I was doing. And that was another one. It's like just, on the fly, coming up with stuff. And it was a lot of fun. Okay, pouch. Shadow, you're talking about a portable dungeon in a box kind of thing? That sounds cool. Just use the box too, really. I've asked this before. I'm asking it again. Do the people who model these ever tried painting them? Oof. I did that through the arm. No, I didn't. Nice. Good night, Shadow. Have a very good night. Its channel name is Shadow and Son. Its channel name is Shadow and Son. It's one thing I wish you could do in a chat is actually link through. I guess they don't do it so that you're not leaving people's streams, but I wish you could go and check out other people's channels. Haven't done the spear, haven't done the crossbow, haven't done the pants or boots. But there we have it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do one of these guys, pants and spear and everything, and then call it a night because I'm getting pretty sleepy here. I do have to work tomorrow. But believe it or not, the clergy don't just work on Sundays. It's one thing about plastic minis, even metal minis, the spears are always bent. Oh well. This one's like it's not sticking out, it's attached in two ends, but so they can't really straighten it. Just the way it is. He's so strong. Or he's just carrying a bent spear. Okay. Okay. Jobs and income and no financial stability, just jobs and income. No financial stability. I am such a mess. Ugh. Oh, come on. Get in there. Thank you. Thank you. Get in there. Excellent. Excellent. All right. It is, you know what? It is rough right now. It is rough right now, Mage. God bless you. It is so utterly garbage right now in terms of the economy in Canada and just job prospects. And I wish someone would figure out the difference between GDP and, people actually having a job, being able to afford things, because they're not the same. But line go up. Anyway. You have a hobbit hole. Well, that's something. Maybe not something great, but it's something. It is something. This is all. Ugh. All good. Okay, listen hard. You're gonna have to. Yeah, you know that that is something, Age, that has been. You're not alone. Even like the big channels are complaining about the growth just slowed to a crawl. People like Shadiversity and um, uh, Professor Dungeon Master, and big channels like Jit, yeah, they're reporting a bad year as well. I mean, Professor Dungeon Master doesn't depend on it. He had a teaching career. He's got an income, but man, for people who for whom that is their income, and yourself included, that's just one little shift in the algorithm, and poop goes the channel, right? I mean, it's also there's people also have a attention span issue, right? You get into a channel and you watch it for a while, and then you're done watching it, even though they're still cranking out stuff. Um, you just end up moving on to something else. Um, but yeah, they're not. They're not promoting like they used to. You're darn right about that. Darn right about that. They are not promoting like they used to. Though I just had a mini bump because of that lore video. Problem with that, of course, is if people joined for that and then I go back to recaps, they're gonna be like, "Oh, when I go back to recaps, oh, well, that's not what I signed up for." So I imagine a number of them will disappear. Like that's not what I thought this was, which is fair. Which is fair. Oh, storm cloud gray for the pants, or slate gray for the pants. Dark gray, light gray. I'm thinking dark, but I'll let y'all decide. Storm cloud gray, slate gray for the pants. While you do that, um, black boots. No, brown boots. Leather. Cinnamon brown boots. Yeah, I've been getting like until this one video. And I mean, when I say it took off for me. I never have huge. Like I'm not, Um, but until that, it had gotten down to a trickle. Um, this year, it's been like that. The thing is, I try to put myself in the mindset of when I first started the channel, and I thought that maybe 100 people might subscribe, and half of them would be like my family doing it just out of pity. And so I think, well, if I got these numbers back then, I'd have been over the moon. So I'm just going to decide to be over the moon now. But I am not. Depending on it to pay rent. Although, to be honest, it does. I mean, there's months where it's the difference between uh, eating proper food and just you know me skipping a lot of lunches or eating garbage because that's what I've got. Or that's because you're not gonna put the kids through that. You're gonna give them real food no matter what. You know that the gray and gray. I don't know. Are there 50 shades of them? I'm not sure. In this case, it's just light or dark. The slate gray has a kind of bluishness. Is there an actual difference between the two usages, or is it simply spelling? Yeah, spelling, I think, is the difference. It's like the difference between a chiropractor and the osteopath. Mostly the spelling. Tripped up by your own spell check. Well, I don't see any voting on that, so I'm just going to decide I'm going to go lighter. Going to lighter gray. For the pants. Get out of here before I fall asleep painting minis. Last time I plugged my phone in, and I don't know how I did it. Last time I painted like this, because it was a long stream, but the phone didn't give out because I had it plugged in, and I'm not sure. I must have used an extension cord because I tried that tonight, and there was no way that was reaching. Okay. You know what? I think he's dang near good enough. Mage, you should do live streams where you color, uh, Order of the Stick minis. Or do you order them in color? You color them yourself? I need a bit more. I just noticed I turned him over and I noticed I missed a spot on the back of his leg. I have access to cheap printing. Of course, the Parish photocopier, all I have to do is pay for the color copies, right? And it's much less than you'd pay at like a Staples or something. So, live stream printing them up. Well, you got to cut them out, put a paper clip on them or a piece of tape or a coin or whatever you're gonna do. Yeah, so I had to. I was able to do color printing for most of them, but Bob Johnny wanted them in black and white, so I left them black and white for him. Printed 3 sets. I think they all have everything now. Just bins of paper minis all over the house. True. But of course, the content of the video, the painting is an excuse. It's the talking and connecting with people and seeing how they're doing. It's actually what these are about. The painting's an excuse. Especially with me, because I'm not that terribly great at painting. It's not like you're watching some master painter. It's just me slopping craft paint onto plastic. He says slopping craft paint onto plastic. Just saw a huge chunk that I missed. Okay, I'm going to take a picture of this guy as soon as I'm done, because my camera is obviously pooped out. I'll have to plug it in and take a picture. And I haven't done the base. Poop. I'm going to take a little bit of gray, a little bit of brown, more gray, and a little more red. Red, orange, orange. Sunday in the Park with George. Thank you very much. Thank you. Black. Quick. Want to get to bed. I don't even know what I was saying. Yeah. The art was often good. Morning, Mr. Sims. How are you doing? It is morning where you're at. I guess it's morning where I'm at. Get in the cracks. Yeah, I love Larry Elmore, Elmore Easley. Uh, Arkansas, the old guys, I like that stuff. Yeah. Get in there, dry. Yeah, I've got the Irish the Irish BS going on. That's me. So, Christopher, this is what we've been up to. That's not going to help. Too far away. That's what I've been up to. Some soldiers for the Baron of Kumoik. Just because I can. Some muddy ground under him, trampled under the feet of warriors, the boots of the trampling warriors, the garments rolled in blood shall be burned as fuel from the fire. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. On them, light has shone. Okay, a little more black, gray in there. Just farting around now, folks. Just farting around. Mixing it on the brush. This is real. This is real Bob Ross stuff. Just let it play. It's your world. If you want to have a soldier standing on a muddy field, that's your world. You have him on a muddy field. Make all the big decisions here. You're in control. Probably add some flocking later, but I'm going to do that later. Yeah, I somehow thought I would do 4 of these and a dragon. I was wrong. Here we go. That's sort of northeast of Philly. Just got done working my second job cleaning a school building. So it's as it is with us early morning. You're a Philly guy. You're a Philly guy. I'm a Wisconsin guy originally. According to the news, we have to hate each other now. Everything I've seen. Okay. All right. This is good. Differences, fun, splotchiness makes it more fun to look at. I say to myself, deciding that it's not a problem, it's just artistic choice. Okay. Well, he's going to be done. He's going to be done. I will hold him up, but you won't be able to see anything. The Steelers. There you go. Then you're fine. Then you're good people. I was in Allentown, Pennsylvania, when the Steelers and Eagles were playing. Man, that was nuts. All right. Well, folks, turn this light down. Turn this off. There we go. All right. Thank you. For those who are left, still watching, thanks for joining. The mini that I painted that I'm now getting all sorts of, well, that's never going to show, is it? You're not going to see him really well. But I will take a picture and show him off. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, did we ever pick a color for the dragon? I heard blue and I heard green. I can't do a turquoise. That doesn't happen in Beckney, but what do you think? Blue, green, black, anything? Strasbourg. So if you didn't see the dragon, if you weren't here earlier, this guy. Blue, green, red, black. Not white, just because I've done so many white dragons. And I don't think gold either. He's too angry looking for that. Too mean looking. Green? Gonna vote for a green. Any other votes for dragon colors while I put my paint away? Where does it go? Where does it go? Just got green. That's all I'm hearing so far. Black and green highlights. Green or black and green highlights. Get all these guys in there. I try to organize my drawer of paints because I'm an only child and I like my toys to remain tidy. Not saying it works, but I try. Well, okay, folks, I am going to call it a night and drag my sorry self to bed. I hope you have a very good one. And for those of you who are starting out your day or still have a good chunk of it left, have a good one. And those who are on your way to bed, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And I'll see you later. Bye.